Welcome to episode 36 of Descent into the Wormhole, where we discuss everything from ancient civilizations to modern day social issues and everything in between. I'm Les.
And I'm Stevie J, and today we're going to be talking about false accusations, specifically to do with domestic violence and other types of relationship-related false accusations. So very interesting to get through and get into this, especially with what's been going on lately.
Yeah, well, we're on the Johnny Depp Amber Heard libel trial is coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we're ramping up to that very, very quickly and very fast. Mm-hmm. And the beginning of Marilyn Manson's. Yes. So interesting that they're both friends on both sides. Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp, good friends, and Amber Heard and Evan Rachel Wood, good friends.
Yes.
Coincidence?
Well, I don't think it is a coincidence. And much like we always say on this channel, coincidences are really not a thing.
Right.
And there's one other link that joins the four of them together, but really two of them, Evan Rachel Wood and Amber Heard, and that's Roberta Kaplan, the attorney, the original attorney of Amber Heard, and also the attorney most associated with #Time'sUp and all of that kind of movement at the time. So, I mean, Roberta Kaplan is not a nice person. She is an absolute piece of garbage, actually, because she's been since found out to be siphoning money off to, herself and other directors to do with charities and stuff like that. But anyway, that would be digressing. We're here to talk about domestic violence, false accusations.
Right.
And there's some high-profile cases in Manson and Johnny Depp, which really highlight this kind of stuff. And it highlighted it to me. I think you were much more aware of these issues in society in general, but for me, it's been a big eye-opener, to be honest.
Yeah, because a lot of people just don't assume that someone's going to lie about something like this. And what are you getting out of it to lie?
Right.
Like you see it a lot in teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot in teenagers that they'll say something happened to get out of something.
Yes.
And what I was reading, the stats for the U.S. was that if a teenage girl, let's just say a teenage girl, because it works on both sides.
Right.
This is a human issue. It's not a woman problem. It's not a man problem. It's a human issue. But for the most part, it's teenage girls that are, maybe they came home late.
Right.
Maybe they broke curfew, or they ended up pregnant, or they skipped school, or they're looking to get out of trouble somehow. They will, send this thing out into the ether, not realizing that there's actual repercussions that they revert through the entire life of that person who has been accused, not realizing that in that moment, I am destroying this person's life. Absolutely. Because I'm not making excuses for teenagers, but they don't think that way.
Right. They don't see. That's right. They don't see the follow-on consequences. Like, they think, I guess, the mindset is that everything ends at school. Like, not so much ends at school, but within that school environment, which includes home and everything like that. But it's it's as if it doesn't continue on for the rest of people's lives. And, it absolutely does. I mean, kids, even, teenage, in this case, we're talking about boys. So teenage boys who are getting accused of something, that will follow them forever. Yeah. Unfortunately, and even if it's found out to be a lie and it's all comes undone and the accusations are proved as false, it still follows them, unfortunately, because that stigma is always there. And not the same people who get reached with the original allegations don't necessarily get reached with the retraction. So there's a whole bunch of people out there who just keep on assuming that what was said was true.
Right, and it can impede everything for your social relationships. Potentially like romantic relationships. Finding a job, depending on how old you are, because a lot of the times they would be under 18, so it's sealed up. But that does carry with you. Like you don't forget something like that in school, hearing something like that. So I think if we can nip it in the bud when they're young and really have consequences, because there are no consequences at this point. There are none. It seems to be one of those things that you can go in, stealthily ruin someone's life, and then tee-hee, and then walk away.
Well, screw you, because I was just about to say, it's as if all of these people making these accusations think they can just go tee-hee, and it's done.
And done.
that I just made a boo-boo. But no, like it's so much more serious than that.
Yeah.
So much more serious.
Because when you go into adulthood, it gets even more serious.
Right.
And job implications, jail. The list goes on and on and on of what could potentially happen. And we were talking about over lunch. In the case of Shania Kelly, she accused her father of the R word when she was 9. He went to jail. And then later down the road, she retracted it, saying that she only said it because her mom threatened to whoop her if she didn't get the answer she was looking for. And the mother even admitted to it. She said, I was on so many drugs that, not an excuse, but they were now eventually trying to do the right thing. And they wouldn't do anything. The legal system wouldn't do anything. He was still in jail. They're like, no, man, he didn't do anything. No, it's still in there. And guess what happens to men in prison when they are known to be screwing with children?
Yeah. Wow.
It's not a good life for them. It's not a good life for them, but it's not a good life for them.
Right. But in terms of, like, I guess prison, then it's all crap, but that's the lowest of the low. Yeah. And, we should mention here too, she was 9 when she made those initial accusations, and she didn't retract it until she was 24. So, not only he still had to stay in prison, but like even to just retract it and put it out there to say that it didn't happen was, 13 years later. This poor guy, how does anyone stay sane during that? I don't know. Like, I mean, and we have been talking a lot about and covering a lot on the Johnny Depp case on our other channels, but and I think it's worth talking about because it's a high profile case. But when you look at Johnny Depp, certainly some horrible accusations there did cause him real issues with his career and his family. His kids were getting teased and bullied and things like that. But he's also somebody who has got resources. Horrible that it happened to him. And, we've been fighting for his, his justice for a while. But when you take that same scenario and apply it to somebody who's not a Johnny Depp, to somebody who's just average Joe, they don't have the resources to fight that. They don't have anybody to support them, back them up. And certainly, they don't have millions of supporters and followers worldwide to help them. So essentially, like this guy, they end up in jail and that's where they stay. And it's really, really disgusting. And I will just stop at this point and say, obviously, it's equally as disgusting if somebody's actually doing these things, right? If somebody's actually committing these acts of violence and crime and all of that, horrible, and they should be in jail. But we're talking about today false accusations, and they're far more prevalent than what people realize. Like, of course, the tagline and the catch line from everybody is, women are, attacked so often, and then men need to be this and men need to be that. But what they don't talk about is the other side of it, and some of the judges and everything have even been talking about how prevalent false accusations are.
Yes. Well, if you go onto Google, which I did, and you Google false allegation stats, you will find that they're reporting low numbers. But if you dig a little deeper, you go onto lawyers' websites, and then you pull up things that judges have been saying, the numbers are high.
Right.
And so I went back to see, okay, why are these stats so low? It's because they are coming from DV websites. They're coming from domestic violence websites. So they don't want to say, we're fully aware that some of you are full of shit.
Yes.
We're fully aware.
They want to be saying that.
You don't want to say that. You don't want to say that because you want to treat everyone with the same respect. And that's the problem here, is the crux of it, is that every time a false allegation is uncovered, it takes away the credibility of an actual victim.
Yes, and that's something that is really, really sad about it.
Yeah.
Is it's almost as if they're actually abusing the power that they have to make those accusations and make them stick, because and I guess it's one of those things, it's a repeated pattern of behavior in the sense that, like in a judicial sense, because they wouldn't be even bothering to do it if they didn't get away with it or if there was harsh penalties. Now I get, like, it is a very grey area to try and figure out for lawyers and police and all that, to try and figure out actually who's telling the truth in these situations, because it's very much he said, she said a lot of the time.
Yeah. And as we were saying, you can't prove that you didn't do something.
Exactly.
Because you didn't do it.
Exactly.
It's impossible.
Exactly. Like, yeah, prove you didn't touch me before.
Yeah.
Go. Prove it. Like, you just can't.
Yeah, I can't move. I got nothing.
You stop. You can't do it. But that's what makes it so hard. And so it is a difficult thing for police and all of that to do. But when they do find out, when people do own up to it and to say that the accusations are false, there needs to be harsh penalties, I feel. Yeah. And there needs to be a consequence, because otherwise it just repeats over and over again. And more women and men too, but mostly women in this case, for false accusations, will just keep doing it and keep saying, well, I'm just going to use this as a tool. As a tool to get what I want in a divorce, for example. Yes. Like, we're going to get a divorce. Well, I want everything, so I'm just going to say he did this to me or did this to the kids, and that means I'll get everything.
Yeah. And men do it too. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. Men do it too. And as I said, like, it's not... It's more of a lesser side of the equation when it comes to the men, but the motives are different. Like, that's yes. the thing. The motives are very, very different when it comes to men. I have clocked in my years of doing what I do.
Yes.
That it's when it's the woman doing it, either she's trying to get out of being caught out with an affair, like she had an affair, and she got caught and she's like, oh, no, he did this. Mm-hmm. Or she's trying to alienate the kids from the father. Yeah. And that's a great way to do it, because she doesn't want to have the kids.
Yeah.
She wants the house. She wants the money. She wants everything. When a man does it, I have noticed that it is because he's about to be caught out of being an abuser himself.
Yeah.
He beats her to the punch. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, because the law has to take these things very seriously, the first one to the gate is the one who gets the credibility, is the one whose story is heard. So if you were to go get a TRO against me tomorrow, but you're the problem, as soon as I go in and say, no, I'm not hurting. Like, my voice is silenced the second you walk in there. I'm silenced. Yeah. And for whatever reason, these people who do this are they're part of the playbook. And women can do this too if they realize that they're going to be called out for something, like being abusers themselves.
Yeah,
they will also beat the person to the punch. It's almost like they know what to do in order to cover their asses, because what they know is they're doing something wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
They know they're like, okay, like, how can I cover my ass if this person that I'm trying to control is no longer controllable? Like, what's my out?
That's such a good point, and that's such a good word, control, because I feel like that's a huge part of it, because it's used as a threat as well. Yes. Like, if you don't do what I want you to do right now, in this separation, in this argument, in this whatever it is, if you don't do what I want you to do right now, then I'm going to do this. I'm going to report you for X, Y, and Z.
Well, does that not sound familiar? Because Amber Heard sent Johnny Depp an extortion letter. She wanted, according to her, nothing. But she wanted 3 penthouses, the Range Rover, $50,000 a month, and then like $10,000 a month for travel. She wanted the dog.
She's so generous though. She wanted to give $500 a month to charity.
Yeah, that's what she gave before. That's what she gave before. God. In her previous.
It's more than she gave after the divorce.
Well, it is. That's funny. It is way more than what she gave after.
She gave zero.
She was more charitable before she had money.
Right.
But that's what she did in the extortion letter, and it's online. So if anyone hasn't seen it and would like to, you can go find it.
Yeah.
It actually says, we're looking for this. And in a roundabout way, if we don't get this, we are filing for a TRO.
Yeah.
And so, and Johnny's like, fuck you, man.
I'm not
fuck you. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. And good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. It derailed his career. It destroyed a lot. But to stand his ground that way, fucking right.
Which was really just the truth. And at the end of the day, he just didn't want to give in. He could have at the time, and he could have, done all of those things and said, okay, fine. But he never did that. And she tried to blame it on the lawyers and all of those things. But that's the key example, isn't it, of using it as a threat to get what you want.
Yeah.
And, she even says the words, go ahead, tell the world, Johnny. Who's going to believe you? that, that Johnny Depp, this guy, is a victim of domestic violence. When, again, if people haven't watched that, check out the other channels we've got. But
it's all
Amber Heard is the actual abuser in that relationship. But,
allegedly.
Yeah. Well, allegedly.
Allegedly. We have to. Allegedly.
Okay, it's alleged. I'm just going to say it's pretty much a sealed deal at this point, allegedly. But it's a good high profile example, I guess.
It is. It is.
And look, the other thing too is, I feel like there's a big movement in Hollywood to do this as well, like to do with Hollywood people. Like, I wonder if Amber Heard would have done those things, or the people, Evan Rachel Wood and those people would have done all of those things and made those accusations towards Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson if there was nothing to gain for them.
Right.
So it's about threatening, but there's got to be something to gain as well, doesn't it? So
well, a lot of people do it to be vindictive. Like that, a lot of people. If you talk to younger ladies and like their young 20s, if they're still maturing mentally and emotionally, that when they say like, "Why did you do this?" You're like, "Well, he dumped me."
Yeah.
It's like all he did was leave, and this is what, or he got a new girlfriend, or whatever it may be. I'm scorned in some way, so I have to go destroy this guy's life.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just to be vindictive, and that's the win in itself. I ruined him, and that's the win.
That's the thing. Like, that's what you get.
That's my win. But for Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore, I'm not sure what's in it for Ilma Gore. I'm really, really confused by this because she's never met Manson, yet she seems to be the puppet master thread through this entire thing. It's really bizarre.
It is bizarre, but that piece of evidence that Marilyn Manson put in his lawsuit against Ilma Gore and Evan Rachel Wood, that Post-it note, I feel like that might be part of what she's after, because it said, what did it say? To protect people is the reason for the Phoenix Act. Yeah, to protect people and make money. Well, she's had money drums too, Ilma Gore. What was it? She had to loan money off her family members and stuff like that, or she wanted to, and they wouldn't let her. And
she got she had to get, her sister had to get a restraining order against her.
Yep.
And she was opening up credit cards in her twin sister's name and her deceased mother's name, and she took money off of an elderly relative because she said she was buying a house, and apparently she never did. So whoever is siphoning this information off to Manson is just gold, in my own humble opinion.
Right, absolutely. But I mean,
but this is also, Ilma Gore is also a woman who created a fake lawsuit again with her and Donald Trump because she created an NFT of Donald Trump, and then she said, "Oh, he's suing me," and then did it again with Louis Vuitton. Never happened. She is the queen of creating false documents. So it doesn't surprise anyone that Marilyn Manson rocked up and said, this FBI letter that Ilma Gore and Evan Rachel Wood are clouding around and putting it in through their family, like, because Evan Rachel Wood has her own family issues. She used that FBI letter for her own custody hearing. It's fucking fake. They made it up.
It's totally fake. Yeah.
They impersonated an FBI agent.
Yeah. Like a real one.
A real one. Like actually exists.
It's not like they went, hey, what's a good name for an FBI agent? I know, like Johnny Banks or whatever. It's not like they made up a name. They went, let's find an actual FBI agent and let's use that name. Are we good? And they did. And of course, so not good because the FBI agent got a phone call and she's like, nope, I never wrote that letter. Don't know what this is all about. Please don't call here again. Like, so it wasn't real. It was completely and entirely fake. And, well, how does anyone get away with that? And that's the thing. Like, well, now they haven't gotten away with it yet.
No.
Because these things are all in the works right now with the Marilyn Manson case. But one thing that I wanted to mention that really pisses me off with all of that too is, well, first of all, there's a bloody documentary about all of this. So the court case is just like starting. There's no conclusion.
And it dropped, the lawsuit dropped after Phoenix Rising dropped, like released.
Yeah.
It's almost like he was waiting.
Yeah.
He was like, tick tock, no.
Yeah. Well, because the accusations, well, Manson got named in February 2021
Yes.
by Evan Rachel Wood.
February 1st.
Before that, he wasn't named publicly. But the interesting thing about this, and just for people who haven't actually caught on to this, the Phoenix Act and Phoenix Rising. So the Phoenix Act was something that was a piece of legislation that got suggested or put to Senate or whatever it is to get passed to allow victims to make accusations longer after the statute of limitations, or make the statute of limitations longer. Yeah. Basically, that's what that is.
Which I like.
And that's fine.
Because you're not always ready to come forward within that time frame.
Yeah.
And so I'm cool with that. If you're telling the truth, I'm cool with it.
Of course, if you're telling the truth. But Phoenix Rising, the documentary.
Oh, and the Phoenix Act was created by Evan Rachel Wood and Ilma Gore.
Yes. Yeah. And Phoenix Rising is the documentary about that. So that's what we're talking about when we say Phoenix Rising. And like this documentary is, well, it's complete garbage. We can just say that. Like it's trash.
Yeah.
And it's so much more of a promotional type video for Evan Rachel Wood in the sense that she's never done anything wrong in her entire life and been responsible for anything in her entire life. From when she was only a child, she had to basically do everything, and it wasn't responsible for everything. So, like, she took drugs. She did all of these things. Everything that she did, she's like, oh, I took drugs, but Marilyn Manson made me. Yeah. And he chose the drugs that I took and all of this kind of stuff. So, basically, the Phoenix Rising documentary was meant to be about her struggles and all of that and the Phoenix Act. But really, it was just about her sort of saying, I've been a victim my entire life.
Yes.
Of everything and everyone.
And I was only a child.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing is, she wasn't a child. She was 19.
Yeah, exactly. And what did you say to me the other day? You said, back in the day,
yes.
right or wrong, back in the day at 19, a lot of women had a couple of kids and were the old hand around the house. So.
Yeah. You were doing your thing. You had your kids. You had your husband. He went off to work, and you were just the mom, and you were doing your thing. Like, you were doing life, and you were doing it. And I don't know if they were complaining. I don't know, but I feel like as we go through, as we evolve, I'll say that term fucking loosely. We evolve as a society. The older we get, the less responsibility we keep putting on ourselves.
Yeah.
Because, like, as I said, like, we were on a stream the other day and they were saying, oh, well, she was only 19. I'm like, fuck that. I was 18, living on my own, going to school and working.
Yeah.
At 18.
Yeah.
I take full responsibility for that.
Yeah.
Full. Well, and I always did.
Yeah. But I think the other important thing to mention too is, like, you and I'm sure, me and other people, like, any decision that I made that ended up with me even at a negative point in my life, not all of that's our fault, but like some of our decisions are like our responsibility. You can't just say this bad thing happened. There's nothing. It's everyone else's fault. There's nothing I could have done differently about it. Well, I mean, and look, there, some of us have been in horrible relationships before, and although the things that those people did to us are not necessarily our fault, but could we have made decisions earlier on to not be with that person? Probably. But, hey, we made mistakes and we owned it and we're out and we're not in that anymore. But it's just, like, people just, this day, you're so right. Like, I know that term should be very loose. Progressing forward or evolving backwards. Can you evolve backwards?
We're sliding back down
the hill.
We're sliding back down that hill.
As we devolve as a society. But people just, I feel like people do look more externally over and over again. Like, where else can I put this blame onto so it doesn't have to be mine? Like, I don't have to own this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Like, where can I place it? And they'll, like, we've seen some mental gymnastics of how people get to the place that they've placed the blame.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how the fuck did you get there? But anyways, whatever.
Yep.
But when it comes to the false allegations, unfortunately, what happens, like, when it's in Hollywood, like, obviously, as you said, when it comes to Depp, when it comes to Manson, they have millions of people behind them. Digging through the evidence, bit by bit by bit, trying to figure out what we can find to possibly maybe even help the situation. But I find the biggest problem is that if it's out in the media before it ever goes to trial, I think that's our problem.
Media. Yep. Media is a massive fucking problem because everybody's tried in the media and convicted before anything happens, before there's any investigation. I mean, you look at what just happened with what's his name, Jesse Smollett.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were going to say Will Smith.
No, well, that's its own level of ridiculousness. But Jesse Smollett, like he made these elaborate, big accusations, and when it first came out, he was getting interviews and stuff like, "Oh, poor you," and "Oh my gosh, in this day and age, can you believe what's happening in this country?" Yeah. Oh, it was false.
To find out, no, we can't.
We can't believe it because the entire thing's bullshit. And but the media in that case and in so many others just run with it. They're like, "Well, this happened."
Yep.
No, it didn't. Whoa. Just back up. Like, show us some facts here. Yeah. And then, the Depp case, the TMZ video was a huge one. Like, they showed this short clip of Depp slamming cupboard kitchen doors. Yeah. And went, well, guess what? He's guilty. He's done it. He's an abuser. That's it. He's done it.
I'm not going to lie. When I first saw that, when it came out, I saw it and I said, "Oh, Johnny, not you too." And then I went about my day and I completely forgot about it until the audios came out showing her as the issue at hand. Again, if you haven't seen the audios and you're kind of interested in what's going on, both our channels have everything, so you can run on over and check those out.
Right.
But I remember thinking, "Oh, buddy, shame."
Yeah.
And it wasn't even true.
Right. But that's how the media frames these things. And they know what they're doing. They're very good at it. Yeah. They know what they're doing. Like, they'll set it up, like, before they show that, like, the clip or whatever, whoever's involved, whatever they show that clip as their evidence, they'll build it up first and say, Johnny Depp has always been eccentric and la 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 da da da.
Hollywood bad boy.
Hollywood bad, yeah. Like they'll literally build it up like that. They'll have the dark, ominous music building in the background, and then they'll go dun and show the clip, and then they'll cut it straight away and then do more of the same. Like, he's obviously violent and aggressive and la 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 la, and it's like, but when you just watch the video for itself and in its entirety, not edited, because there was a convenient section edited out of that video, which was when Amber Heard's smirking at the end, because Johnny Depp throws her phone in the bin or something. She grabs the phone out, smirks in it, and then goes after him to antagonize him some more. So she was definitely not innocent in that.
No, was she injured? Because she tried to say she was injured.
Oh, yeah. That was the insinuation, was that she was injured. But no, not at all. Fine. Totally fine.
She's fine.
But the media ran with it, and so did, I guess, the general population as well.
But my problem is with all of these Hollywood false allegations is that it's teaching.
Yes.
It's teaching people what to do. So every time we say, aha, look what I found, another person is sitting there in the corner saying, okay, fuck man, don't do that. Well, so don't go do what Amber Heard did.
Yeah.
And everything she did wrong, don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, so now that's a really good point. You just got me thinking about something. So in terms of deterrence and consequences and stuff like that, okay, so we've often talked about things like, let's say, serial killers or, people committing the R word and stuff like that, or even, murderers, how do the people think that, like, a brochure or an ad saying, "Don't kill people," is going to really stop people doing that? They already know it's wrong. They know it's 100% wrong.
Right.
And, like, that's a very, very drastic act, I guess, to do, or thing to do. But when it comes to false accusations, it's a lot more watered down than that for these people who are potentially looking at what's going on and saying, well, I might just accuse this person so I can get this. It's no big deal, really. It's no big deal. So where's the brochures? Where's the paraphernalia? Where's the advertising? Instead of, like, saying, all men are the R word, all men, assault women. Like, instead of having that as your brochure and your paraphernalia and your adverts, why not say, false accusations are wrong and can really damage people.
And there should be
show
like 10-year punishment or something. Like there should be a harsh punishment.
There's a harsh punishment for them.
Yeah.
Because that would be a much better message to send. And it's not necessarily a gender thing, like you said earlier. It's just to everybody. Let everybody know, like, this isn't acceptable. Because that's something that's a bit more watered down, a little bit more grey. Whereas, trying to tell people that are already committing these, like, horrendous crimes, like, serial killers, the R word, people who are already, I want to say, like, in it and doing it, are evil people who, it doesn't matter what you tell them. Like, you could put the biggest, most elaborate ad on TV, and then it's going to be like, okay, well, I know it's bad, I'm just doing it anyway.
Yeah, I like doing it.
Exactly. But I feel like with these false accusations, specifically, and that kind of crime or that kind of thing, there's a lot of people that would be out there, men and women, who are kind of like, I wonder if I just accused them of something, if I could get something out of that. I wonder, well, the consequences aren't that bad, so I guess I'll just give it a go. It's worth me giving it a go, right?
There's no consequences. It's so worth giving it a go.
Exactly.
Because if you're getting something out of it, and for a lot of people, and I don't know if for many people it's the attention that they get. A lot of people just don't have that attention in their life.
Right.
So they're looking for it. They're like, oh, what could I do? Well, I could accuse so-and-so of doing watch and watch, and I'm going to get lots of attention. Or if it's, but I feel as we get into celebrity status, it's money. It's money, it's attention, it's Instagram followers.
Yeah.
But for the normal folk like us, for the everyday Joe and Mary, I think a lot of it is vengeful. It is to get something. It's to get ahead. It's to win in the divorce. It's to win the children. It's it's whatever. And what was I saying earlier? That we shouldn't be trying, like, if I'm going to accuse you of doing something, like, I don't know, maybe trafficking me. If I'm going to accuse you of that, your name should be left out of it whatsoever. I should not be able to ever say to anybody, especially on social media, Stevie J. Raw is a human trafficker. I should not be able to say that until it is absolutely true. According to the law. According to the law,
yes.
If I start doing that, if I start looking for the attention and start to plaster it out there to gain sympathy and whatnot, my case should be completely removed and there should be a punishment for me. Because we have what we're learning is that is almost like, as long as other people believe me, well, I'm the winner.
Right. And it doesn't matter if the court finds that it's true or not.
No.
Because the public already see what they see.
It's already done.
Absolutely. That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And, you got me thinking about Evan Rachel Wood again and the Marilyn Manson case and the documentary. This was one of the most cringeworthy things I think I've ever seen. So she made her accusations, right, allegedly to police. Allegedly, because I don't think that ever happened. I haven't seen any documents to say that she reported anything to the police. But, or the FBI, to the fake agent or to the fake FBI. Anyway. But in the documentary, Phoenix Rising, she says there's this moment where she's about to name Marilyn Manson on social media. And she says, the authorities are just not doing anything. The only thing I could do is get everyone else in the public to, raise the awareness so that they'll do something.
Absolutely.
And it's like, what the hell? If there's nothing there for the police to follow up or the authorities to follow up, then what the hell's the public got to do with it? There's obviously no evidence. There's no evidence. You've got nothing.
I forgot about that.
Because the police aren't sitting there going, geez, I can't wait for it's a bit slow today. I can't wait for the public to really put pressure on us so they can tell us what cases to follow up. Forget the evidence. We don't care about that. Yeah. Just whatever the public says. No, I'm sorry. That doesn't work like that.
I forgot she said that. So what she's telling to all of the little boys and girls who are watching Phoenix Rising because they love Evan Rachel Wood is that if you don't go public, your case will not be seen. What that's doing is that it's taking resources away from the regular Jane and John Does out there who really need the help, who really need the investigation. It's taking it away from them because you're looking for a 5-star fucking investigation and you're saying that it won't do because no one's fighting. Well, who's fighting for Jane and John?
Yeah.
No one is fucking fighting for Jane and John.
And look, there's a whole reason why. Like, I know I've got my own issues, and we do with judicial systems and courts and government and all that kind of stuff. But there is something called due process, and like to sit there and say if you genuinely have an allegation against someone and you haven't gone to the police, but let's just say, for argument's sake, she did go to the police, and they haven't been able to do anything with it. Like, who are you to go out in public on social media and make accusations against this person? Really? Like, again, no consequences, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I mean, it will eventually come back around. But the problem is that once those accusations are made public, that's what sticks. That's the big headline. The retraction's not the big headline. Once, it'll be like this tiny little fine print, a few years' time probably, where it'll say, oh, by the way, Marilyn Manson was innocent. And they'll move on to the next thing. And probably it'll be, sadly, the same with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
But, and I mean, and the everyday Joe wouldn't even get that, would get nothing, except their whole entire life ruined. So, it's one of those things, but the fact that she said that was so interesting to me, that she's like, oh, well, police really aren't doing anything. I guess, the only thing left to do is to, get a mob together. Let's get a mob together with pitchforks and torches, and let's chase this guy around until he confesses. What does that sound like? It sounds a lot like a witch hunt, doesn't it?
Sounds like an abuser to me.
Well, it does. And, well, but it's almost that same logic to me as the witch trials, right? Where they would say, well, we're going to put this woman underwater and, if she survives, then she's not a witch. And it's like, Matt, hang on. You're going to hold her underwater. No way she can survive. Mm-hmm. So if she dies, she's definitely a witch.
Yeah.
So, and of course, she's definitely going to die.
Right. So
they're basically just wanting to kill all these people. And essentially, like, it's the same thing with Evan Rachel Wood in this case. Obviously, a little different, but it's an analogy. So that, like, she doesn't really care. She's just going to put these accusations out there. And it doesn't really matter if it's true. I want to get everyone on Twitter, she's saying, everyone on Instaface, everyone on MyTube to just be on my side because I say so.
Yeah, book of faces everywhere.
Yeah.
Twitch, LinkedIn, eBay, you name it. She wants you on there.
Craigslist, Gumtree.
She wants you on there. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Snap, or whatever that's called.
Yeah. I forgot that she said that.
Yeah.
Interesting. And once again, highlighting all this in the media is just fueling more and more people to do it, because the chances of me going to jail. So I was reading a stat that said, of the average false accusation, only 3% ever get the punishment that they deserve. And apparently where I was reading, I think it was Texas, was like 3 years in jail or something. So,
which is really, I mean,
when you have the judges saying, we have a problem, we definitely have a problem. One judge said he lost sleep at night for some of the things that he saw, that he just his brain and his body and his soul just wouldn't let it rest. We got this problem. So when you have a problem, what do? You sort it out. So when you have a problem of people running around, red rumming, everybody. So you've got this mass murder going on, right? Mm-hmm. What's the solution? You catch him, you take him to trial, you throw him in jail.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the punishment is, I do not stand for the death penalty, but other places do. So whatever.
Yeah.
You have a punishment for that thing because you said it was a problem. Well, we got a problem.
Exactly. There's a problem. So where's the punishment? Where's the consequences? I mean, it's just so insane to me. Like, how can it just be a tee and that's it? There's got to be more consequences to this, or it's just going to keep happening and happening and happening. And it's going to keep clogging up the court system as well with all this, taking time away and resources away from helping actual victims who need real help getting through all this stuff, both male and female victims getting through this stuff.
Yeah.
And look, it's just the thing is that so many people don't even recognize it and don't know what to do as well. So, I mean, I guess to me, like, it's pretty important too that we talk about things you found it. What are some of the things that people can do for facing false accusations if they're falsely accused?
Okay. So if you've been falsely accused, and obviously evidence, you probably won't have any unless you can prove you're like completely out of that location when they say it happened. Yeah. That would be evidence. But as we said, to prove I didn't do something is nearly impossible.
Right.
Unless a location is involved.
Unless there's specific things to debunk or to discredit.
Yeah, or certain times that I was doing other things. You can't. Yeah. It's virtually impossible. And I think that's where a lot of people who do deploy this kind of malice on other people, they know, like, well, I can't prove that he didn't.
Yeah.
But I can prove with my fabricated evidence that he did.
Well, that's just it. And the other thing is, I guess to consider is a lot of this stuff is relationship related. And so in relationships, you're often spending time together alone in your home or whatever. And so if the accusations are, alleged to have happened at one of those times, well, then, of course, it's super difficult to prove it didn't happen. Like, and it should be, looked at equally the other way too, really. Like, well, how do you prove it? But unfortunately, it's just believed immediately without any kind of investigation most of the time. At least the media will just throw it out there as if it's real. But yeah, you're right. How do you do that? It's really almost impossible.
Yeah, and for the average Jane and John Doe, the police rock up, and I've heard, and I know it's not every police officer because not everyone is a dick, but they will automatically. They'll automatically either blame the dude automatically, no matter what.
Yeah.
Or they'll start to fill in the pieces themselves and to make it a story that they embellish the story themselves. They'll just kind of go on the back of what one person is saying and kind of like recreate a scenario that they weren't there for. So we got to be really, really careful. So what I found was, and we're going to put the number for DV helpline in the description box, and we're going to put it at the front and the back end of the show for YouTube, but we will have it everywhere possible so anyone can find it. So if you do find that you are in a DV situation, first and foremost, an actual DV situation, you can call them. What you need to do immediately after being falsely accused of DV says contact an experienced domestic battery lawyer. If you can, and that's the thing, a lot of people don't have the money for it, and that's as they don't have the resources, and that's just really, really unfortunate. But it says it is possible to defend yourself after being falsely accused of DV. However, this is considered such a heinous act that proving your innocence will take the help of an experienced criminal lawyer that does not have the same emotional involvement that you do. They can help you navigate the legal system, make sure you're not to miss any steps. Yeah, I'm sure trying to do this yourself.
Oh, it'd be so stressful.
Would be so stressful. Yeah, because your livelihood is at stake. This is a personal emotional attack on you, your character, everything that you are, and you can't separate that. You can't see certain things because you're so blinded by that.
And you'd be emotionally so involved with it as well, trying to learn the law because you have to, present some kind of legal argument as well. So really tough.
Contact your family and friends. So this one is actually really important because what happens if someone does a false allegation, what they'll also do is they'll do a smear campaign as well. So so they make the false allegation and then they'll go tell your family and friends of what you quote unquote did.
Yeah.
Just it's that extra added layer of people in their corner that they have. So these people, this lawyer's office is saying that you need to contact your friends and family immediately to say what happened. You kind of want to get ahead of it and don't say, hey, like she might reach out and tell you this because that's not a good look to say, listen, this has happened and I don't know what to do and I don't know how to feel. Maybe whatever is going on in your head, just say, I need you right now.
Yep.
I need you more than ever right now.
Yep.
And it also says hide all your belongings. And I really wish that someone told me to do this. I really do wish.
Yeah.
So it says, in the event of malice, accusers can do to manipulate evidence using resources within their reach. Make sure to keep your privacy and limit your partner's access to your resources. This can sometimes mean hiding your bank account information, car titles, electronics, jewelry, or other items of value that can be easily liquidated. Yeah, they'll take your shit and they'll run with it.
Yeah.
Change all of your login passwords. Absolutely.
Oh, that's a huge one.
Everything. Change all your passwords immediately from your bank account, your email, your computer, your eBay, absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah,
and that's Amazon.
Everything. Yes.
Gumtree.
Yeah, everything.
Everything. That's one I didn't realize that was pretty important. And it's you just never know. Like, luckily, nothing really happened to me, but it was a door that was probably open.
Yeah.
And one that should have been shut. So 100% got to do that.
Yeah.
Change all the passwords for everything.
Yeah. So, and the last one is begin recording and making notes of all interactions with the accuser. Yes, yes, yes. I think this one should be first and foremost, but calling a lawyer is actually really, really important. So this one should have been second. Like, you want to make notes of everything while things are still fresh and you're not all jumbled up in your emotions and you're this and you're that and you're just a hot mess of yourself. It says contact should be avoided with your accuser until approved by your DV lawyer. However, if you must interact with them, be sure to retain all written interaction, including text, email messages. It's important to remember not to let anyone else read these except your lawyer. Make sure your lawyer is present when answering any formal questions related to the case with law enforcement.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep.
So true. And look, I mean, it's one of those things, this kind of evidence, like recording, writing things down, that at the time doesn't seem that important. Like when things are happening and it's emotional and it's like, I can't deal with that. I can't write it down. I can't deal with whatever. But if you can make yourself have that just presence of mind just to do that in that moment, record, whether it's recording or it's just writing down, whatever it is, even with some dates and times of interactions, and definitely keeping all the written text and emails, so important, because like when you get asked for that later on and you go looking for it, there it is. You've got the reference. You know exactly when it is, and you don't know what else that could jog in your memory too. Like if you've just written down, say, paraphrased an interaction, it was this date, it was this time, this is basically what was said. You don't know what else could trigger, because some of these cases, I mean, look at Johnny Depp, like it's been going on for 6 years now. And who knows how long the Marilyn Manson one will go for. And, of course, our average Joe cases, they go on for a long time too. So, keeping those records is just so important. So important.
Yeah. And to anyone who has been falsely accused, man, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
That's really rough.
Yeah.
And look, if anybody has as well, please write it in the comments, write to us on social media or whatever. Let us know. Tell us about your experience with it.
Yeah, our email will be below as well.
Yeah.
If you want to send us an email, there's nothing we can do, but we can be with you in spirit and.
Well, and we'd also, if we've missed something important, please email us, let us know, and we'd be happy to talk about it. Course.
Absolutely. It's a really, really important subject. Like DV in general is such an important subject. And as I said, every time, we want the awareness out there. We want it to not be a thing. Like DV should not be a thing on both sides.
Yeah.
Like telling people just don't do it. And I don't know why we're still so focused for our quote unquote involvement in life. We're still so focused on the man being the wife popper. Well, why can't the woman be the husband popper?
Yeah.
Why can't it be that way? But we're still, men, don't hit your ladies. And the dude's like, well, fuck, man, why could she hit me then?
Yeah, well, exactly. Why is that okay? Yeah.
It's not okay.
Well,
it's not okay. And it also spills into emotional abuse as well. That is a whole different bag of worms.
It is. And I have to give credit.
Same basket, same different cat.
I have to give a little bit of credit here to the UK. And I think the US might be looking at this too. But coercive control is a law in or a crime in the UK now, And there's been a couple of convictions from that. I think one woman got 7 years from that, but that was also some disgusting physical abuse as well, like with weapons and horrible injuries caused to the man as well. But at least that's something. Like it's something else, and that goes into that whole, blackmail, emotional abuse. Some of these women who are, physically weaker and smaller and things like that will use other things like, hey, I've got brothers in organized crime, and if you do anything to me, guess what's going to happen to you? And so, there's all of these other emotional and, other kinds of abuse there too. But, it's just horrible. But, if anyone out there, like we said, feel really bad for you. Hopefully you can get through it. And with these the false accusations or, even DV, if you want to write to us, let us know. We'd be happy to talk about it all.
Yeah, and I think we should do another one, like later down the road a little bit, just to talk about a little bit more, because we need awareness, but we need awareness for both. I feel
absolutely
awareness of both and punishment.
Yes,
for
absolutely.
The false allegations. We need to do something because worldwide it's a problem.
Yeah, and look, and like you said earlier, the hugely frustrating thing and sad thing. An infuriating thing is this how detrimental the false accusations are to actual victims. It's so detrimental because, the everyday person already, to some extent, looks at these accusations, may believe it, but doesn't necessarily attach any care factor to it. But when it's so prevalent, like it's so often, and then the accusations get found out to be false, then that average person just goes to another level of I don't care. Like they just go, oh well, I'm sure it's not even true. And for women out there who are really going through this, or men who anyone who's really going through this, and they need that person to be like, hang on a minute, that's not right. Like we got to do something here. They're in trouble. Well, that doesn't happen because it gets looked at as being a lie, being false.
Yeah, so. It's every time we take 2 steps forward, a false allegation takes us 5 steps back.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's that of that.
Yeah. Wow.
That's it for us.
It is. Another episode is done. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And yeah, like we said, contact us, let us know. And until next time, we'll see you all later.
Bye. Do you need to be over more that way?
This way?
No, over this way then. Yes, all the way that way.
Sure. I'll go sit in the corner. The corner's a good spot for me. I think that's good. I think we're very symmetrical.